Okay, thank you everybody for rejoining us for the 6 o'clock agenda. This was the originally scheduled meeting of the Charter Revision Commission. Roll call, we have the same 8 commissioners back with us: Ed Camacho, Tyler Fairbairn, Rick McQuaid, Jim Clark, Carl Dickens, John Levin, Joe Bennett, Tanya Rhodes Small. And then we have a few of our council members in attendance and our council, Steve Mednick. The first item we have, it's item 3 on the agenda, 3A. This is update from council on the alignment of the budget provisions. This is something that we had, I believe, discussed at the tail end of our last meeting. Steve, were you able to provide us an update there on the dates and the timing that we needed to be sure we got right?
Yeah, everything was fine. I went through it with some detail with the CFO, and everything works properly. My concern was the last step in the process, and everything works just fine in that regard. So I don't think that there's any issue in that respect. I did raise another issue in this section. Now the controller provisions we dealt with, they were still up in the air when we did the original agenda, but it was the transition period for at-large expansion, and maybe it's not an issue. I made it effective for and this is what was in the charter for the election of 2027. Does everybody understand that? And is everybody okay with that? That's the question I had. The 4-year terms will start taking effect in 29 and 31. And the at-large expansion would take place in 27. And as I was looking at it, I just thought I'd raise it just in case anybody had any issues with it. I'm not trying to make a big McGill out of it, but I just wanted to raise it. If
Why?
no one cares, we leave it the way it is.
Why is it 2027 versus the next time that the council, versus either 29 or, whatever the other dates are? Why is it
2027 is the next election. That's why I put it in there as kind of a default that it would take place in the next election cycle. The reason I thought about it as I was looking at it a second time is that we're going to be making substantial change in the terms of office in 29 and 31, and that's the only reason I raised it, to see whether you wanted aligned with the 4-year term. If there is a 4-year, it's different than the 4-year term, obviously, but I just wanted to raise it for that reason. I didn't want to, I just wanted to give you the option. It was in the document, but it was never discussed. So I just wanted to raise it for the purpose for disclosure more than anything else.
Well, my thinking is that just to avoid confusion about, when's the city council doing this and the city council doing that, but to avoid that kind of confusion of the public, because there's going to be a lot on this ballot. Maybe one general question that has a lot of catch-all stuff, but there are going to be a lot of separate things on the ballot. And I think that if, to the extent that we can keep the moving parts not moving as much, I think it makes sense to have it to align it with the next 4-year term of the city council, or if there is a 4-year term with that year.
Are you suggesting 29 then, Ed?
Yeah, I think so.
My question to council was,
It would be 31. It would be 31.
It would be 31.
Because the mayor's 29, is that the idea?
Yeah, the mayor's 29 and the council's 31.
Okay.
If it was 27, would that be the earliest date that a major change is happening from this Charter Revision Commission in terms of elections?
Well, in terms of elections, that would be the first action.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because the 4-year terms take effect in the 29 cycle and the 31 cycle.
I'd like to hear the other commissioners if they have thoughts on this.
I do.
John?
Yeah. We approved this for several reasons. First, it was proposed by the council to us. And as the council members pointed out, it helps to address a representation problem. And I feel that the problem should be solved with this solution, which we already voted to approve, without additional delays. Otherwise, the problem simply persists. I think that the voters are smart enough to know the difference between 2027 and 2029 and 2031. And if different things are happening in different periods for different elections, I would expect them to be able to understand that, so that the council expands in 2027. The mayor's term goes from 2 to 4 years in 2029, and the council terms go to 4 years in 2031. It's not that complicated. I think Norwalk's voters can handle it.
Okay, anybody else?
So if you want to leave it the way it is, there's no need for a motion.
And I'm sorry, and the way it is now would be starting in 27. If we're going to change that, we would need a motion to
Yeah.
change it to a different.
Right.
I sorry, just quickly. I just wanted the other Tyler Fairbairn on Zoom. Do we know who that is?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
Make sure my kids aren't on an iPad downstairs.
Tyler gets
I
2
love
votes
it.
tonight.
2 bites of the
And-
apple,
By the
Tyler.
way,
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
Okay.
So I move that it be moved to 2029 to coincide with the first 4-year term of the Common Council.
That the first
Right.
4 years, the Common Council will be 31.
Wait, 19th, it
31.
will be 2031. Yes, that's
So the
right.
motion would be to move the start of at-large expansion to 31. So I'm just putting the notes down. Okay, we will do a roll call on this. Same order as we have been doing. Carl, the motion is to move it from 27 to 31 for the start of the at-large expansion.
No.
Carl's a no. John,
Delay it another 4 years? No.
Rick,
No.
Ed, is a yes.
Yes.
Made the motion. Jim,
No.
Joe,
No.
and no. Tanya,
No.
okay. And I'm a no, doesn't matter. It was defeated 7-1, 1-7 rather, opposed. So we will need to then take a vote on that item as is, which would be the date being
No.
20.
No, we don't have to.
Oh,
We
It's
don't
already-
have-
No need.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No need.
That was just the update. My apologies.
Yep, no problem.
So the next item, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, this
Apologize.
is item 4, the discussion for item 4, Steve.
4A is to look again at the issue of compensation and to move away from the currently recommended item that you have to create the compensation of 3% of the mayor's compensation to a reimbursement model. And the language is before you. The council would continue to receive its $600 per year. In addition to that, there would be reimbursement of up to $5,000 per member to defray documented, reasonable, and necessary expenses incurred in the performance of their duties, subject to such rules as may be established by the council following the review of the Corporation Council. And there's some typos in there. Corporation Council was not a CIL, it's an SEL. And so that's the issue, and it shall not be deemed to be compensation. Actually, the council members end up with that account, would not be taxable income because it would be used for necessary expenses related to their job. So this is to replace the 3% compensation with a reimbursement standard.
And can you please repeat the cap on that?
$5,000 per member.
So the
It's a
amount
reimbursement.
is the same, right? So when we last considered
Roughly the
this,
same. Yeah.
right, it would be I think we did the math. It was 3% of the mayor's salary was around $5,000, either as
Yeah.
salary or or reimbursement for documented expenses. Does anyone on the any of the commissioners want to comment on this proposal in
Well,
item 4?
It's not quite the same because the other thing was 3%, right? So this is a cap of $5,000. That won't
Right,
change
that's
with the
different.
mayor's salary, right? That's just $5,000. It's not quite the same.
Correct.
Yeah, the way it was worded before, it seemed that it would be 3% and it could go up from there. The way that was written, if I understood it correctly. But I thought, why are we going at this again? I thought we dealt with this in the last meeting. I'm a little
No,
confused.
missed it. We didn't bring it up where we had it.
It was going to be brought up at the last meeting. It was not brought up.
This, it was, we did, well, what
did.
wasn't brought up? This new
We
proposal?
discussed it.
Yeah, new proposal. It was, yeah. We did receive, information on it. I know we missed it because the next day I talked to Stephen. I said, I think we missed the reimbursement compensation.
I thought we talked
So
about.
yeah. I mean,
That's weird.
I don't think that voters are, I think that if you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. This is kind of akin to putting lipstick on a pig. I think voters are going to see right through this. And I think that the disingenuousness of this, it's like, if you're going to give, if a council is going to receive pay for the long hours that they put in and the hard work that they do, I think that the public is as likely to say fine by just giving them a 3% of the mayor's salary. And they're less likely if we try to sort of trick them, if you will, into thinking it's something else. It's, and then on top of that, it's now suddenly tax deductible or non-taxable, I should say. So it's really, I think to John's point, I think the voters are smart enough to figure this one out too. And I just don't, I mean, look, if that's what the city council wants to do and we want to revisit this issue again, I'm not going to get in the way. If it's going to be voted down, it's going to be voted down. But I think it's as likely, if not more likely, to be voted down in this fashion than if we're absolutely honest with the voters and call it what it is and make it at least a taxable event.
I have a question. Thank you, sorry, Joe. Thank you.
Jim and then Joe.
I thought that during the discussions on our last meeting that Jalen and some others favored the 3% model, and actually, I think I preferred the other. But so I think I would like to hear from any of the commission, the council members who are here today, what their thoughts are on this, because really this is to help them, right? So I'd like to know in which way would help them more.
Joe, I'm just going to recognize the council members responding to Jim, and then we'll get you next, if that's okay. Duan?
Yeah, I just wanted to say a couple things about it. I don't think it's more so for the councilmen and women that's on the council currently. I think we're looking towards the future and the individuals to, people in the community to really get involved, because we see that as a problem that people don't want to serve. And this is one of the issues. And to Ed's point, us trying to frame it a different way doesn't change that is happening. So I think just keeping it how we voted was the right thing. I think we all agreed, well, majority of us agreed for a reason, but I think this is an equity issue. And I also think, the way we package it is not going to change. The voters is not stupid. They if they don't want it, they'll turn it down. But I think it's reasonable due to all the time that most of the council men and women put into this.
Well,
Thank you.
if you take a raise, that's gonna be pretty straightforward. And I think as long as it's explained on the ballot, you know, where those numbers are coming from and what a 3% raise would be, which means on the ballot, it would show what the current salary is of the mayor and what 3% would be divvied up amongst, you know, all of the council people. If you go the expense route, you're now talking an accounting nightmare amongst 15 people, I think. And you're also looking at having to issue 1099s to people that you may have hired or whatever for babysitting purposes or whatever other reason. I think it gets real messy with the expense side of things.
I agree.
Okay. Unless there's if there are any other council members that would like to respond to Mr. Clark, we'll call on Joe. Recognize Joe. Floor is yours, Joe.
At this point, I have nothing unique to add other than the fact that I brought up previously. I feel like we're underestimating the administrative burden. The administrative burden on the city of Norwalk if we go with the expense, and also on council members. It's a lot of work. I mean, and I've had to do this before, you know, keeping track of all your expenses and recording them. So again, the question was, you know, the either or. So the 3% or the expense model for compensation. You know, I would be inclined to go for a flat rate. It's easier for everybody all around and probably won't make much of a difference.
Yeah, and so I think the distinction here again, like the other one that we considered before, and Steve, let me know if I'm wrong here, is that this is there's part one, which is the standard $600, right? But I think we had that language that if there's any kind of change to whatever the state law was, that could then change, and then the compensation would be a second part of it. Is that what's different about this? I mean, last time we had considered one or the other, right? We considered a flat $5,000 salary or the reimbursement. This is the $600. That doesn't change unless it's changed to state law with reimbursement for documented expenses up at a cap of $5,000.
And that's where the cap came from, because it's equal to what the 3% raise is.
It's in the ballpark, right?
My understanding, Tyler, is that it was either 3% or in accordance with law. I think we're going to keep that language in there. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. If that should were to change, if state law were to change, then it would be the common council could decide in each budget year or through ordinance what their salary would be.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, unless there were any other questions.
And I think just one last point. It's I think that, and I appreciate the sensitivities involved here. It's really I see this as a fashioning the question on the ballot in a way that is perceived to be most palatable for voters, and I think that's what this is about, because we're really talking about the same thing, more or less. I think there was an email that came along recently that said that if you get that there were members on the Common Council that could not refuse the $600 that they received every year. And so the reimbursement model was a lot better, because theoretically you can refuse that. But when I served on the Common Council, I didn't get paid. I wasn't interested in the $600. So I think you can actually refuse it. You can even refuse the 3% if you're so inclined. So you just don't submit your W-4, and that's the end of it. So anyway, so I think this is an effort to make it look nicer or to pass muster with the public. I think it's likely to have the opposite effect, because I think it's not quite as transparent. So that's why my vote would be no.
Okay. I mean, do we have a motion to approve this, the alternate reimbursement provision?
Or if you don't have a motion, then it just doesn't go anywhere.
And it just doesn't go anywhere.
And it stays at the 3%, Counselor?
It stays at 3%. So if you take no action,
I see Ms. Dunn's shaking her head a bit. Did you want to add to the conversation? I really appreciate hearing all the voices when they're present. So
Yeah, Heather, I apologize. I didn't mean to miss you if you were.
no, she didn't raise her hand. She was just kind of shaking her head, and I'm like, okay.
You are right that we are not allowed to turn it down. I tried to, I did not want the money. I was like, this is my civic responsibility. I personally don't want money, and I was told I could not refuse it. And I had to sign the 1099 or whatever it was. So having an option to not have it, and I think for me, reimbursement is better because then you could use it or not use it. So I appreciate that. And I also having the fact that the council, the 3% for me is problematic because we determine the mayor's salary. So essentially we're determining our own salary. So there is a bit of a conflict of interest there. So I'm not in favor, but that's.
I think the mayor's salary increases by a percentage every year, no?
No,
It cannot, under the state constitution, the mayor's salary can only, and council salaries can only change prior to the commencement of their first year, or if it's a 4-year term, prior to the commencement of the 3rd year. You can only get changes before the 1st year or the 3rd year.
Oh, I see. So there's no COLA attached to the mayor's salary?
Not that I'm aware of.
No,
That's what
I don't believe it's in the charter. It's on the charter. And if there's a COLA, the COLA can only take effect in the budget prior to the commencement of term and prior to the commencement of the 3rd year of a 4-year term.
Counselor, do you believe that there would be perceived conflict of interest since the council is setting the mayor's salary?
No, not any more than a conflict of interest. And well, actually, your council doesn't get to vote on the tax rate. But in most situations where councils get to vote on tax rates, they're affected by the tax rate as much as any taxpayer. But again, it's not considered a conflict of interest because it's a generalized common conflict for everybody.
Okay. If there's no more discussion, do we have a motion to add this updated language that we've discussed to what had already been approved? If not, it remains the same.
Okay.
Okay.
We might get,
So-
on the next 2 items, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, Steve, the next two,
We'll probably take them together if you want.
pardon?
We can take them together if you
I
like.
think we should. It's repeal of kind of older provisions. If you want to just give us a brief overview of that, I would recommend that we
Yeah.
vote on those together.
Yeah. So again, as you know, and as Tyler and Carl and Rick remember from the prior charter revision, I don't see Rick. Rick's still there. I see Rick.
I'm still there. So about
We
seven.
had created the sunset provisions at the back of the charter, and I was unable to get responses, and I finally got the responses. And so I'm recommending that we delete the language that I provided you for in 8-4D4 under the purchasing agent. And with respect to the Public Works functions, 8-7B2 and 3 can all be deleted, mainly because the Home Rule Act provides all this authority for both of these functions. And so in both cases, you have pretty detailed ordinances that actually one of them almost mirrors what was in the charter already. And so you don't need to have you needed to have these provisions before 1957 because you didn't have a body of law that gave you authority to do these things. And so I just wanted to make sure there was nothing unique granted here that is not in the Home Rule Act. There is nothing. And so I recommend the deletion of all that language, which will thin down the document considerably. That's it for me on that.
Were there any questions on that was in the attachments for the agenda packet? That was kind of broken out, those couple pages.
Right. No questions.
Okay, so I will make a motion that we approve both of those items together. So it would be 4A, B, and C, the purchasing agent, repeal the purchasing agent provision and the public works provisions.
Second.
All in favor? I don't know that we need a roll call for this. Anyone on the commission opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right, so that passes unanimously. Which gets us to item 5A, which is the vote on the final report. Steve, I guess the motion to approve that, I mean, do we need to add approving the final report
As modified.
as
your
modified by
actions
the
this evening.
discussion this evening? Okay.
Yeah, the two meetings.
The two meetings, yes, will be the 5:55 and the 6 o'clock meetings of the commission on August 12th. Is there a
Yeah, the
motion?
final report will reflect those changes.
I'll make that motion.
Jim Clark. All
I'll
right.
second it for Jim then.
All in favor of Jim's motion to approve the final report, incorporating the changes from 5:55 and 6 o'clock meetings this evening.
And this is the whole McGilla going back to council, right?
The whole thing.
This
Yeah.
is the lipstick on the pink, the apples, whatever else you want to have.
It's all in there. It's all in the pot. Okay. Any opposed?
I think you should do a roll call vote on this.
We'll do
I
a
think
roll
you should do a
call.
roll call on the final report.
Yeah.
Okay. Carl,
No,
on the report, on the final report.
correct.
Okay. John,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Joe,
Yeah.
You're muted, Joe.
you're
Muted,
muted, Joe.
Yes.
Okay. Tanya?
Yes.
Yes, I am a yes. That is 7-1 in favor. All right, Steve, thank you very much. Thank you to everybody on the commission and everybody who's participated in the process, all the council members. We greatly appreciate it, and we look forward to the next steps here, and then we'll see this a little further down the road. Mr. McQuaid.
Yeah, it's just one thing, Tyler. I want to mention that your leadership, along with Doug, really kept us going here on a very tough charter compared to the last one I sat on. So I want to just thank you and Doug and all the other members of the commission and Steve. And I can guarantee you one thing right now, and you can put it in the minutes there, Monique. No more charter revisions for me. I'm out of here.
It's like the wrestlers, Steve. You leave Rick. You leave your shoes in the ring.
I won't even be at Old Timers Day.
Well, thank you, and yeah, absolutely. Doug is not here this evening, but Doug is a wealth of knowledge, and he's been a tremendous asset to the process. So he's on a well-deserved vacation, but crucial part of the process.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to say that I've done 2 of these charters with you, and I've enjoyed working with the 3 of you who were on the last commission. We've worked together for the last 4 years. It's been a wonderful process. Norwalk is a very rich community in its culture, spirit, politics. It's been just an enormous joy for me to be involved with all of you, and this has been a really good commission that has done some outstanding work, and I just want to tell you how much I appreciate the time you gave me and the courtesies that you provided to me over the course of the last year or so. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, we're fortunate to have you for both of these, Steve, and hopefully we can move you on by the time we get around to the next Norwalk Charter Commission charter revision.
Yeah,
So
maybe I'll be playing. I'll be a professional shuffleboard player down.
we'll come see your shows in Boca. All right,
thank
do
you.
we have a motion to adjourn this evening?
So move.
All right, thank you all very much.
All right.